Okay, it looks like we are live, ladies. Happy Friday. Goodness gracious. Welcome to Flow Friday. I'm so excited to have each and every one of you on here with me. As you know, I am Nicole Rome, the capacity coach, and I help women increase their capacity by creating balance between their personal and their professional lives. And all four of you are really here to help me close out Women's History Month because we've talked individually, collectively about how important it is to be able to celebrate ourselves and our wins and the history that we're making. And so I thank you for your yeses for coming on here with me this Friday night. And I want to have all of you take a few seconds to introduce yourselves, and then we'll go back through after we've all kind of gotten a little bit acquainted and talk about how we're making history and how doing so we're able to manage our capacity, as well as some of the bumps in the road that we've had to get through. So the imposter syndrome, which I know each and every one of us have had, talking about just the fear and doing it afraid and what that looks like, because oftentimes I know with my clients I've experienced that we may think that it's just easy. We make it look easy, but behind the scenes, it's a lot of hard work. So, with that, welcome you guys as you come in. I want to start with the lovely Lisa Marie. Go ahead and introduce yourself, ma'am.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me, first of all. I am so excited to be here, and I'm so excited to be surrounded by my productivity divas as we celebrate the end of Women's History Month. So, my name is Lisa Marie Aird. I have a program called Campus Bound GPS where we help students and parents navigate the college application process. And I also have a new program that will be launching soon called Map Your Way to College, where we really work on the process of getting from start to finish, going through chunks of the college application process so that students can find their way, find their best school, the school that's the best fit for them. And while they're going through the process, there are nuggets in there that helps them build confidence. So that's a little bit for what I have.
I was muted. I was going to say yes. Go ahead with that 30-second elevator pitch, ma'am. That's amazing. And I know the work that you do absolutely is making history, because as I think about when I was going through the college process, my parents didn't know how to help me. And even so now, I have a senior in high school, and I've told you, like, even though I've gone through it, stuff has changed. So you will be hearing from me because we need you. So thank you for what you do.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for introducing yourself. Okay, Miss Latika Vines, boss mom coach, introduce yourself. And hey, Christy, I see you, girl.
Well, good evening. Good evening. My name is Latika Vines. I am the Boss Mom Coach. I help working moms who aspire to grow their career but don't want to sacrifice their family time for a career. I help them balance family and be able to lead and grow their career successfully. And thank you so much, Nicole, Capacity Coach, for having me on this evening.
You are so welcome. And, you know, I know from speaking with you and working with you that being able to really balance being able to grow in your career is super important as you round out your entire personal development. And so thank you for what you're doing as well
Thank
to help
you.
us get it together. And thank you for introducing yourself.
Thank you.
Hey, Michelle. Hi, Mom. My mama on here, y'all. Hey, Mom. All right. So next we have the lovely Cassandra Alexis. Talk to us about what you do and introduce yourself.
Hello, ladies. I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. Happy Friday. Um, I am Cassandra Alexis Conley. I am the host of the Crowned Opulence podcast, as well as the CEO and marketing strategist of Opulent Outcomes, where I work with Black professional women to silence their doubts, own their opulence, market their value, and create their own tables.
Woo, you did that, Cassandra. Very good job. And I'm
Thank
saying that because
you.
what you guys don't know is that all of us are in this productivity hour where we meet on Saturday mornings to really take and make the time. We create the capacity to work on our businesses. And we've been practicing our 30-second elevator pitches, and Cassandra just knocked it out of the park. Not that you didn't, boss mom Latika Vines or Lisa Marie. I'm just
Thank you, ladies.
saying. So welcome. Thank you so much for what you do as well, because learning how to walk in our excellence and own our opulence is exactly why we're having this conversation tonight. So we can celebrate ourselves and the history that we're making. All right. Last but not least, Dr. Ely, confidence doula.
Not quite yet, doctor, but it is coming. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for just providing this space and opportunity. I am Lanisha Ely, the Confidence Doula. I am a business confidence coach, author, and cheerleader of women who are ready to transform their ideas into businesses. I'm also a university assistant dean and adjunct professor, in addition to one half of Two Queens Media, which owns Soigné Swank Magazine, a Black excellence publication that highlights stories of inspiration and conversations that matter to the Black and Brown community. And I'm excited to be here, especially during Women's History Month, highlighting that, her story, our story, to the masses. So thank you.
You are most certainly welcome. And with all the hats that you wear, thank you for everything that you do to help us, really be able to celebrate ourselves, to celebrate our excellence, for the business coaching that you're doing, for your time and energy that you dedicate at Georgetown, just all the way around. Like Latika said, you rock, Lanisha.
Hey, Hoya Saxa, that's Georgetown.
Yes. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about what it looks like on the back end, right? Because when you see us and other women like us that are building their careers and or having their own businesses and being a mom, being a wife, being the one in their circle of friends and family, I want each of you to tell me one thing that you've struggled with behind the scenes, like how you've struggled a little bit to be able to manage it all. So, Lisa Marie, I'm gonna start with you.
Of course. My struggle is definitely time. I work full time with my day job, and I work full time with my passion. I am a mom, even though my kids are grown, still mom, and I'm a daughter. So it's a lot. I'm a sister. I'm in a sorority. Um, and my family and my friends. So it's time and trying to balance, everything and just be there fully for everyone, giving them the same energy. And I think that's a struggle at times. And I'm glad I have my my productivity sisters around me, because that's some of the things that we work on and some of the things that we talk about. So, time and just making sure you have that energy to give everybody 100%.
Yeah, I love that you say that, because that time is key, right? That's why we take the time to work it out with each other. But also the energy. That's one thing that most people don't verbalize. We talk about time all the time, but the energy that it takes to try to give 100% to everything, when in the reality, that's what capacity is about. Like, you only have 100%. You can't get more than that. So the fact that you're managing that, you're doing your passion and your full time, I'm proud of you. And I appreciate you sharing that struggle. So, Miss Latika, tell me something that you have been managing in the background.
For me, one of the things that I've had to manage was making sure that I'm in alignment with God. I have so many ideas, so many things that I want to do, so many needs that need to be met. And what I mean by that is in the community of working moms, there's so much that we need support in. And so I recognize that. I feel it myself. And so I feel like, oh, well, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. But really, that's not what God has for me. We all serve a purpose. We all have gifts. And I need to stay in my lane. So for me, it's just making sure that I'm in alignment with what God has for me and what I need to utilize my gifts for, and not to go and do everything under the sun, but truly be in alignment with him. So that's something that I've definitely, and even just recently had to sit down with God and say, okay, God, I need you to keep me focused, keep me intentional, and just be able to rely on him for those answers.
Yeah, and I don't think that you're alone in that. If anybody else struggles with that, with being in alignment, I want somebody to put one in the comments, because I know I too struggle with that. And thankfully, I have all of you ladies, and Latika, especially with you, coaching me as well on how to really do that, how to keep God first, how to be intentional about that relationship, so that not only is my personal life being guided and directed, but my business as well. So thank you for sharing that struggle. All right, Cassandra Alexis. Now, I know that you two have left your corporate role, and we've talked offline about how much of an adjustment it is when you go from corporate to being the CEO. Tell me something that you struggled with.
For me, one of the things that really caught me off guard, and as I started my own business and even the podcast, was confidence in myself and my own abilities for what I've gone to school, gotten a bachelor's and an MBA in, and have done my entire career. I've worked for some of the biggest brands in the world, global brands, in corporate marketing my entire career. And when I went into entrepreneurship, that was like this, I guess you can call it imposter syndrome or whatever came up of, can I do this? And am I good enough? And I had to have a conversation with myself to say, you've spent your entire career, you've been hired by some of the biggest companies in the world to do this. You've done this. You've won awards. You've beaten goals. You've gotten Vendor of the Year awards. You've done things that your counterparts haven't done. You've won accounts, etc. Why are you questioning if you can do what you've already done? If you can do this for global companies, of course you can do this for people who are starting small businesses, etc. And so I would say that was one of the biggest challenges, and one thing that I was not prepared to have come up and start to question.
Now, that's a good one, because that imposter syndrome, especially for women, is a big one. And it's in particular women of color as well. And so managing through that, who else here has been dealing with imposter syndrome? All right. Anybody else that's in the chat, put me if you've also been dealing with imposter syndrome, whether you're growing your career, whether you are, doing your business as well. I know for me, I constantly used to say, can I do this? Because I've shared openly, leaving that HR space and doing coaching on a different kind of level, just individually and group coaching, it was scary. I questioned myself every step of the way. And so I love that you share, that's something that you reminded yourself of. Like, hey, I've done this for big brands, dominant organizations, and that's been able to help to boost that confidence in you being able to do it in this space. So thank you for that. All right. Confidence doula.
Yes, I would say my biggest challenge has been removing that superwoman cape. I constantly no, I got it. I can do it. I'll do it. I'll take care of it. Nope, don't worry. I don't need your help. So asking for help, saying no, removing that cape and just having time for myself, that was still is at times a struggle for me. So, not being superwoman for everybody, for everything is something that I deal with.
Okay, I'm gonna ask, who else deals with superwoman syndrome? Anybody else a recovering superwoman? If that's you in the comments, say yes. Some double hands, if I could lift my toes. And it's real because the clients that I work with come to me with that same feeling. Like, I want to do all the things. I'm used to doing all the things. How do I put this cape down and implement self-care? How do I take this mask off and give myself just 5 minutes to breathe because I'm overwhelmed with all the stuff that's on my to-do list, all the things that I'm trying to get done. So I love that you are so open and honest and sharing with us that superwoman cape is hard to put down, because what I often hear too, and let me know if you guys feel this too, that when someone kind of tells you to take it off, that it may seem like it's just easy to do, right? Like you can just pick it up and sit it over there. Anybody else feel like that's the expectation on them? Yeah.
Absolutely, especially when they say, "Oh, hire somebody to do that. Outsource it. Get somebody else to do that." It's easy to say that. And I'm guilty of saying, "Get somebody else to do that."
Mm-hmm.
But it's so hard to say, "Okay, I'm giving my baby to someone, or I'm allowing someone to care for something that I've birthed that
Mm-hmm.
is near and dear to me." So it's definitely a struggle.
Yeah, I talk about delegation a lot too, because really being able to have the time, have the energy, have the capacity to show up wearing these different hats, you have to be able to delegate. And that's not easy, because I'm the first to say, right? Like, I want you to help me, but you're going to have to do it my way. Because if you don't do it my way, I'm just going to take it back. But then that defeats the entire purpose. So thank you for sharing that too. And if you're in the room and you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat, because I want this to be interactive. Whatever question or comment it is that you have, we're here to just have this open conversation. And so I want to switch gears a little bit and have each of you tell me what you're most proud of, how you're most proud, or what it is that you're doing that's making history that you're most proud of. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. I won't go in the same order. Anybody want to go first? Because I'm picking on poor Lisa Marie. Latika, was that a hand raised, Boss Mom Coach?
I was adjusting my glasses, but Cassandra went ahead and is off mute. So go ahead, Cassandra.
Oh, you just about to told you. That's what we do, sister friends.
The thing that I would say that I am most proud of that I'm doing, and it's not easy, is my motto is be unapologetically opulent. Most of my life, I've been made to feel small because of my accomplishments or how I was. I've been put down and ridiculed for it. And there's so many Black women that feel that they have to choose between being the bougie friend or not. And no other race of people do you get put down for leaving the hood. Who wants to live in the hood? Nobody. And so, in the work that I do, really creating a space for Black women to own their opulence and to know that it's okay to have high standards, to know that you are not everyone's glass of champagne, but only a chosen few get the privilege to enjoy you, and be okay with that. It's not easy. So that's what I would say.
Hey, bougie friend.
Hey.
And that's part of it, right? Like, so many of us sometimes stifle our own success because we're worried about what other people are going to say about our success. Mm-hmm. Oh, you think you better than me. Oh, you made it out the hood. Or, you make 6 figures now, so you can't eat fried chicken wings. Whatever it is,
Exactly.
First of all, I'm always going to have fried chicken wings.
Hello, no especially from Harold.
Okay, see, and I forgot to mention that Cassandra is from Chicago as well. So I got a fellow Chi-Town lady in here.
Yes, yes.
No disrespect to y'all in Maryland, almost
All
the
the
same
Maryland
thing.
people.
I know because Cassandra, you've lived there as well, correct?
Yes, I did live
Yeah.
in Maryland. So I did get to enjoy all the seafood from Maryland.
Yes. So it's a good combination that we have
Yes,
here.
yes.
But yeah, like really being able to own that you like nice things, own that it's okay to be that bougie friend or whatever it is that you want to call it. So I'm proud that you are creating that space for
Thank
us
you.
to be able to do that.
And it's so important for us to realize that we do have options.
Mhm.
And, oftentimes we're made to feel like we have to choose from being successful, being a wife, being a mom.
Mhm.
And thanks to my mom, I grew up with the mentality that I can do anything I put my mind to.
Mhm.
And being mediocre was never something that was tolerated or allowed. And for me, because of that, I do believe that I can have it all and I deserve to have it all. And I'm willing to work to have it all. I'm not, expecting this just sit around and it fall out the sky. And we need more people telling us as Black women that we can have an amazing career. We can have the friends, the travel, the family, whatever it is that you want. You can
Mhm.
have it.
Yeah, and that's honestly directly tied to what I coach about because even on my website, I say you can't have it all. You can't
Mhm.
have the career, you can have the family, and being able to manage your capacity is how you do that. And taking stock of, I have those pillars, the heart flow, the cash flow, all of those different things. But I was recording a podcast earlier on someone else's podcast and talking about how important it is to check in with your heart so that you're showing up your authentic self. And being able to do so is, like you said, being unapologetically opulent. So, yes, ma'am. All right, who's next? Lanisha. Hey,
Oh God, I just knew you was coming to
I
me
see you
next.
squirming, ma'am.
I had stuff that's coming up. I will say the one thing that I'm most proud of in this moment is coming out from behind the scenes. So for so long, I've been that background person that that cheerleader from the sidelines, and when we talk about, I think Cassandra, you mentioned that imposter syndrome, and Nicole, you're right, it's so prevalent in minority women, but minority women in academia especially, and especially me being at one of the top universities, eldest and top universities, is something that I deal with on a constant basis. And I'm challenged with people saying, "Oh, you're in an assistant dean role because I spoke up for you, or I told somebody about you." So I had to become, I had to put on that confidence cape and step out in front and say, no, I was not given a silver spoon. I was given an opportunity and I did what I had to do. And I put myself in this position. So that is something that I'm most proud of in this moment, is just stepping out front from the back, being behind the scenes, even in this space, and being on this live with you ladies is something that you would not see me do. So yes, I am definitely giving myself all the stars for that, for coming out from behind the scenes and being more present, and just accepting and showing that it's because of me where I am.
I'm nodding and smiling, and my heart is so full because I'm super proud of you as well. I know I've said thank you for your yes, but I'm going to continue to say that because people need to see you and all the greatness that you bring into this world and all the things that you're doing behind the scenes. Eventually, you're going to have to get out in front anyway.
I know, because listen, I think I said maybe a year ago I wanted to do a TED Talk, and look at me now telling it to the world. I
Yeah.
do. I don't know, not tomorrow now, but yes, I do want to do a TED Talk.
We're taking steps, right?
Yes, yes.
And part of that too is around obedience. And I talk about that a lot because so often, I'll be very honest, it may not seem like it, but I hate being in front of the camera, y'all. Like I'm so behind the scenes as well. I'm used to giving you advice and letting you go on about your business. I'm used to telling you what to say, writing it out, sending an email, like getting you together behind the scenes. And so it is a huge commitment and testament to you and the people that you serve for you to be able to come forward and step out into lights, camera, action. So you are not alone. And I know there are other people that feel that way. And again, if you are listening or watching and you feel that way, type me, because one of the things I hope to accomplish, or that I've hoped to accomplish during this, Her Story, I Am a History Maker month of women's history, is for us to learn how to really understand we're not the only ones that struggle with a lot of these things, from imposter syndrome to coming from behind the scenes to managing our time to prioritizing God and spirituality in our everyday lives, and really just walking in our own opulence. It's not easy, and we're not alone in doing that. So thank you for sharing that. All right. Which one of you ladies? Lisa Marie.
Okay, so that was an interesting question. And in hearing Cassandra and Lanisha's response, I started thinking about, why I am here. And I think what got me into the space of campus bound GPS, the space of being a collegiate success coach, is something that can be looked at sometimes as a negative, but it empowered me to be where I am, and that's being a single mom. And the struggles that I went through that my children probably didn't see, because we do put on that superwoman cape, and we try to just do everything so that they can survive. And being in the background, that was me, definitely. And the interesting thing, my undergrad, I studied television production. I was a producer. So I know how to put things together and make sure that lights, camera, action, they're on, but not necessarily me. And when it comes to dealing with my kids, two different personalities, two different ways that they went about applying for college, and I was their backbone. I was Mama Bear. I was the one doing it, and other people saw me. And the interesting thing is, when I started dealing with other people's kids, it was because they saw what I did with mine, and they said, oh, but you know it better than I do. Here we go with imposter syndrome. But the root cause, the underlying cause, is because I was a single mom, and I was put in a space where other people didn't want to help me. Other people didn't want to give me advice. Other people were like, oh, my son, he had 4.1 GPA. And they were like, oh, you don't need our help. In fact, some parents probably thought my son was competing with their kid. And I'm like, oh my gosh, all I want is information. And I prayed. I was like, Lord, I'm a single mom. I'm struggling. I don't know how to do this. How am I going to pay for college? Please give him a scholarship. I don't want to pay tuition. Well, God answered my prayers, probably too well, because I got tuition, but I didn't get room and board. So
So
it
you
was
got
like
50%.
no, I'll say about
Well, no, I know.
about 90%.
Ooh.
But the other part was, seriously, you still had to look for scholarships and look for different means to pay for tuition.
Yeah.
And the research that I did and the way that I felt, because people didn't want to give me stuff. I mean, eventually there were, and I can't say everyone,
Mm-hmm.
because there were people who did help. But for those that didn't, that made me feel some kind of way, and I had to go through and look and research and dig, that empowered me so that I can empower other kids, other families, because it is a family affair. And I think so, what I am most proud of, which I don't think I've ever said this out loud, is being that single mom to, be there for my children. And okay, I'm gonna get a little emotional because
That's okay.
The anniversary of my dad passing is in a couple of days.
Mm.
But when I was having my daughter, I was scared. And I said, Daddy, I'm doing this again. And I said, I feel, my kids are growing up without dads. And he said, God is their father. They will always have a
Mm.
dad. And, you know, that's what empowered me to have the strength to be this single mom, two kids, trying to make it,
Mhm.
having them not seeing my struggle, having my mom as my backbone, as well as my dad when he was here. So,
Mhm.
I had my little village and I still have a village now, but it's my what I saw as my weakness, what I saw as I used to say I hate being a single mom because I'm a statistic. That was my line. And now I have to change that rhetoric because this made me.
Yeah.
My experience grew me. And because I am who I am, I can help others. And that anxiety and that stress that they're feeling, I can remove some of it because you're not going to remove all of it. But if I can remove a little bit of this so that so their children can be confident in who they are and change the trajectory of their legacy, I think that means a lot. So single motherhood.
I applaud you for saying that out loud. And I empathize because, like you, I was a single mom as well. And single moms don't get enough credit. Like, don't get me wrong, it's good to have a husband or boyfriend, and I'm grateful for that. But I know that my 7 years of being a single mom it made me learn how to manage my own capacity, honestly, because I was the only person that I could depend on at the time. I did have my mom, I did have my dad, but I lived so far away because I didn't know nothing. I was young, right? I got this, I can do it by myself. And being able to just, like you said, do the research, find the resources, and being in a position to help other women to do that as well, even now in this space. I remember being the single mom at work. And because people knew I was a single mom and I was the receptionist, they're like, okay, so you figured out how to get your kid in daycare in a place that's close to where we work here so you can minimize your commute and you're in school full time and you still have time to cook dinner and go to after school things. Like, tell me how you do that. And so it's a lot to be able to manage. And again, I commend you so much for sharing that because I used to also think of it as a negative. I used to say I'm a statistic because I got pregnant at 18, and I'm not. It's what made me. It's part of my history. It's part of my journey. And so you too have empowered me to say out loud for the very first time, I'm proud that the the components of my life of me being a single mom have made me. I'm not ashamed anymore. So we definitely making history up in here. All right. Last but not least, Miss Latika.
I have nothing to say after Lisa.
You know what? Stop it. Mic drop.
I have nothing. um, for me, I think one of the things that I had to understand was when God gives you an assignment, you have to do it. You have, like Lanisha said, you have to be obedient and you have to have the faith to do it. A few years ago, I hosted my first official empowerment breakfast. And I truly felt that, God was telling me to do this. And I received so much negativity in doing it. I my own flesh and blood, my own father, did not believe in me and did not want me to pursue this path of entrepreneurship and really at this particular event empower other women. And he did not say some nice words to me, and it hurt. But what it taught me is that I have to be obedient in what God has given me for this, and I just think if I wasn't obedient in what God had given me, I wouldn't have met the women that I've met. I wouldn't have had other women say, "Hey, Latika, when you having another empowerment breakfast?" I would have never had those experiences. I never would have had people leave there being transformed to go into entrepreneurship or other avenues of their life. I would have never experienced that if I wasn't obedient. And so I just learned in those few months of planning, and Lanisha helped me plan that event. I had to dust off all the negativity that I was receiving and keep on going. And I think that was probably the biggest thing that I had to learn about myself to continue on, not to listen to what other people have to say, not to receive or accept what other people have to say, but to receive and accept what God has given me to do. Because, the Bible tells us that God's strength is sufficient in our weakness. And so yes, it is doing it afraid. And I did it afraid because I didn't know what the result was going to be by doing it. But, just by being obedient and doing what God had pushed me to do, propelled me to do, I was able to create an event, create a space for other women to come together at a time that we all needed. I needed to be around other women.
I'm
I
so
will,
proud of you.
me, I try to jump in every now and
Go ahead.
again, but I do want to say exactly that's why the productivity hour actually started, because I needed help. And I went to, Latika's our girl. So I went to Latika and I said, okay, I have something I need to, I saw that. I have something I need to take care of, and I need focus, because as entrepreneurs, and especially, starting your craft and trying to make it right, you need time, dedicated time. And Latika said, well, can I open the space? I said, of course, because that's more my word, energy, and to see how we cultivated a space where we are vulnerable. All of us are vulnerable in this space. All of us open up and we give of ourselves to the point where we make it. So, because, and to anyone who's looking out there who is interested in becoming an entrepreneur, who is, feeling their skills, their talents, their abilities, their gifts, and you are afraid, yes, like Lanisha said, do it afraid. Stop listening to the naysayers and the negativity. Stop being around that space and create your own space. If it wasn't for this, I would not be as far along as I am. And I'm gonna stop now. That's my word. I'm gonna stop now because I know Lanisha has something to say.
I just wanted to add really, really quickly, just to piggyback on what both of you said, especially as all of us being, coaches or women that pour into others. We came into this space that has allowed, like, I know for me, you guys pour into me. And that's something that I live for. And I wake up on Saturday mornings and I'm like, okay, my sponge is ready to soak it up, because for so long I pour into other people. So having that opportunity to sit and, have, Lisa Marie said, Lanisha, you could do it. And Latika's always like, Dr. Ely, because it's coming. we are definitely professing it and claiming that it will be here. But that's important, to have that tribe or that just group or accountability, that partnership with friends, whoever it is, that you allow, because you do have to allow them to pour into you, because it's so needed.
Can I add one thing to that too?
Of course, ma'am.
Just to piggyback on what all of the other ladies have just said, um, it's really important to have those spaces that you can go into with like-minded people that accept you and propel you towards excellence instead of tearing you down. Because so often we don't get that, and we feel like we're on this island by ourselves. And to be in community with other people, other women that are doing similar things and that can hold you up, it's key, and we need more of that in our communities. Um, and to create a space where you really know that you are not alone. So often when you're journey on a journey towards excellence or doing something, everybody may not see your vision or the message that God gave you. And it's not for everyone, but the truth is, when
Say it again. It's not for who?
it's not for everybody.
Thank you.
And the same when we were kids, sticks and stones may break your bones, the words would never hurt me. It's BS. Words hurt.
They do. Thank you for clearing that up.
We need to stop telling little kids that they hurt. And sometimes when you receive those words and when you receive them from people that are so close to you that you think are supposed to be in your corner and you find that they are not, it is really hard to keep going. But that is also why it is so important to surround yourself with the right people, and to be in those communities and for others to create those spaces as well. So thank you, Latika.
Thank you, Boss Mom Coach. And thank each of you for chiming in, because I've learned on this journey as well how important it is to be surrounded by like-hearted, like-minded women, because I've had people in my circle that have been naysayers, right? Like, oh, girl, you trying to leave a six-figure job for what? Like, people losing their jobs and you just gonna walk away? And it brings up the imposter syndrome and makes you feel like, am I doing the right thing? And questioning yourself. But having that obedience, owning your opulence, really digging into who you've been for a really, really long time and running with that is what allows you to be able to do so. And I'm going to take my own advice and answer the question as well. And I guess the thing that I'm most proudest for on this journey of making history is being vulnerable, because it's so hard, especially when you have friend hurt, church hurt, work hurt, parent hurt, all the hurts, and to put yourself out there, in this community. And even a lot of my P2P sisters who are often here. So if you are from P2P, please put P2P in the chat. Learning how to get vulnerable there and knowing that it's okay, and having people to surround me to say, you know what, your vulnerability has helped me, and to stand up and own my story, own my experiences, and be in a position to receive what I've been needing to receive in order to flow and flourish, in order to help other people to build their capacity. And so to anybody who is worried about, I can't get vulnerable, I don't have female friends because females turn on you, or, I don't deal well, I can't. I need you to change your mindset. And I need you to understand that as you're on this journey, again, whether you're trying to grow in your career, whether you're trying to, start your own business, or you're in the midst of it, you need people. You cannot do this alone. God didn't create you to do it by yourself. And the longer that you continue to do things by yourself and allow your pride and your different hurts that you've experienced to prevent you from being vulnerable, you're missing an opportunity to impact and serve the people that you've been called to serve. And so I'll leave that piece there. That's what I'm proud of, my vulnerability. And I'm thankful for it. So I'm going to open it up for questions. I know we've done a lot of talking, which I'm so thankful for all of y'all. If there are questions or, anything that you want to say, drop it in the chat. Otherwise, I want to give each and every one of you an opportunity to, say what you want to say. I'll tell you again how proud of you I am, each and every one of you, for showing up tonight, because I know for all of us probably it was a little tough to get on this call because it's been a week, baby. Okay, a week. I'm at max capacity. But this is part of what I love and I enjoy. So being able to have you guys share your own individual unique experiences on what it's like to be a trailblazer, to make history, to be able to do it afraid, some of the feelings and thoughts that come up with, doing all of this is amazing. So I'm going to go on mute and give whoever wants the floor an opportunity to take it. Don't all jump at once. Oh, okay. Come on, Dr. Ely.
I will jump on in there on this question because it's one that, hold on, turn my little fan off, y'all. Ooh, sorry about that. When I think about that question of being a trailblazer or becoming a trailblazer, I ask myself, do I want to follow the already beaten path, or do I want to take risks and charting a new path? And I'm kind of split, I feel that I am currently following a journey behind trailblazers that have paved the way for me. But at the same time, I am widening the road. I am clearing the road for others to come behind me. So that question of, are you a trailblazer? What have you done do you consider yourself a trailblazer? I'm stuck, I'm kind of in the middle behind that. But I will say that on the point of women and women feeling that they can't work together, I will say that it's definitely not true. I am one half of an empire, I will say. I'm going to call it and claim it, that my business partner and I are building. And we are two women that went to high school together. And folks say, oh, two women can't, build a business together. Two Black women can't build a business together that's going to be successful. And we're doing it, and we've done it. And as long as we stay obedient, we're doing it at lightning speeds. So when folks say you can't do it or don't trust it, you have to follow your own calling. If you're being pulled in a direction, don't deny that pull. Don't resist that pull. That trailblazer ahead of you is pulling you down that road. So take that journey and widen it for those that are coming behind you.
Amen. I'm over here nodding, and yeah, because it's the truth, right? You need to be able to still listen to that voice and know that as you're trailblazing, you're widening the road for people to come behind you, because so many of our moms, our aunties, our grandmothers have paved the way for us to be able to be here to have these conversations. And everything you see in the media ain't true. We know that, right? Like being able to work together. Yes, traditionally we haven't been able to. And part of my hope is that seeing more conversations, more live Zooms, all of the partnerships that are popping up all over the world of this connectedness is going to allow the narrative to be changed. So thank you for saying that. And come on with that empire, ma'am. I'm finished and done.
So I'm going to jump in and, talking about vulnerability, but just talking about, as a, person who's doing it, when you're doing it, you're so focused in it. And, this is one of the things we talked about on Saturday. And I actually see it following me this entire week. But being a gardener, someone told me, hey, you're a gardener right now, and you're just doing, you're planting your seeds and you're toiling the earth, and you're taking care of all that stuff. But you need to stand up and see the work that you've done, see what you've created, and really enjoy what you have. And we're so busy, trying to make it happen, that sometimes we don't realize that we've made it happen. So we are those trailblazers. But it's really hard to define it sometimes because we're used to hearing the first of, the first female vice president, the first African American this, the first African American female that, but we all have
Even
our
the
own.
first woman, right? Like
The
just
first woman,
women, period.
right? And I've always said this, God created us in our own unique way. We have our own skills, we have our own talents, we have our own abilities, we have our own capabilities to be who we uniquely, authentically, unapologetically are. And the only way that we're going to live it is if we accept it. I always say that, I talk about Phoenix Rising. Phoenix is my superhero. And it comes to a point where you have to make that transformation to be all powerful and live in your power so that you can get to where you need to get because that is your destiny. For 5 years, I've been toiling and working with Campus Bound GPS. And this year, my word of the year is manifest. In order for me to reach the goals that I have to do things, step out, look at, what I've done, embrace it, but I still have work to do. But I need to embrace it. And sometimes that's something that we don't do. And we need to, because this is who we are. I heard a while ago someone said some similar conversation to this, saying, you may be able to sing, but you may not have Beyonce's voice. However, Beyonce has her audience and you have yours as well. So accept who you are, accept the audience that is coming towards you. Be okay to say no to the audience that is not for you and keep it moving. I have said no to people and I was surprised at myself and I was like, you're just not for me. Good luck though. I wish you the best of luck.
Good luck and God bless. I just told my sister that earlier. Well, not her, but we were talking about when it's not a fit in any situation, whether it's a client, a relationship, a friendship, good luck and God bless. So no, I love that. Thank you so much, Lisa Marie.
You're welcome.
So I'll add, each one of us were created for a purpose, for a reason. And we are the only ones in the world that can do what we do the way that we do it. There is no one else that can do what we do the way that we do it. And if we don't do it, that purpose doesn't happen. And someone else is missing out because of that. Um, Oftentimes, we are so busy doing that we don't take the time, like Lisa Marie said, to acknowledge what we've done, what we've accomplished, big or small. And so often we accomplish it and are on to the next thing. But taking that time to really realize how far you've come, how many things were thrown at you that could have knocked you down but didn't, and the things that you overcame. Everybody has her story, as she's making her story, and just being mindful, of that. You have a purpose that you are here on this earth for, and someone needs you, as Lisa Marie told me a couple Saturdays ago.
That's so right. And I love it because again, that's the whole reason that I've gone so hard doing 2 podcasts a week for the last month and, trying to just make all of us stop for a second. Just stop and understand what you've overcome. Celebrate the big, the small, the in between, the tears, all of it. Because believe me, there's blood, sweat, and tears in each and every one of our journeys. But being able to sit back and be like, you know what? I did that. And celebrating before going on to the next, getting accustomed to that and showing other women that it's okay to do that. leading by example. So I love that you added that. Thank you, Cassandra Alexis, with your pretty blue fan.
So a few weeks ago, I did a Facebook Live in my group, and I talked about having the vision. And I compared it to WandaVision. So if you're a Marvel fan, if you have not seen WandaVision on Prime Video, go watch the 9 episodes. Just go watch it. And sit there and be confused and then wait till the end and you're like, oh, but what she did is, Wanda, she saw a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, and she had grief. She had grief, and she watched her parents die, she watched her brother die, and she watched the love of her life, Vision, die. And throughout the episodes, you see her taking her grief, embodying her grief as if what she wanted is real life. So she believed that Vision was alive. She believed that her brother was alive. She believed that she was pregnant and she had twin boys. And so she's now a mother and doing all the things of being a mother and taking care of the boys and the wife and all this stuff. She believed it in the depth of her soul until she could no longer believe it. Until she could no longer believe it. And I believe that that's how we are supposed to be. Whatever it is that we have, that God has given us as a vision, whatever that vision is, we have to believe it to the bottom of our soul and go through with it. Because if you don't, like Cassandra said, somebody else is missing out on that blessing that you have. You know, we are vessels that God is using for somebody else. And so now somebody else is not going to be able to have that blessing, that abundance, that truth, because you weren't obedient, because you didn't embody this vision that God has given you. So I would say, I would encourage you, if you have a vision, be like WandaVision. Don't go crazy, but embody what this vision is. Become what that vision is and do it until you can't do it any longer. And I promise you, when you do that, life will change. It will be better. You're going to have some hiccups along the way because this is life and we all are imperfect human beings. But when you can embody that vision, the sky is the limit, as folks say, but God will truly give you what you need, because he tells us that he's not going to give us more than what we can bear. So if he's already given you the vision, he's already given you the equipment. He's already given you the strength. He's already given you the capacity. He's already given you the people to help you to embody this vision.
Yeah, so my mom has a quote that she always prompts me with. She said, keep on keeping on.
Mm-hmm.
And that just came out. And my battery's about to die, so I'm going to just run away a little bit to get this thing connected so I don't lose. Oh, here it is, actually. Oh, good. It wasn't too
It's
far
okay, because we're going to wrap up in a minute anyway. But I love to keep on keeping on because that's what we have to do, right? And Lanisha, I see you unmuted, so go right ahead.
I just wanted to add, piggyback on what Latika said, because it brought me, it took me, gave me a little flashback before when she's saying, you know, you have to embody that vision. But I want to add that you also have to release the fear and let that vision go. I remember, and again, this was one of Latika's events, one of your author's event. And I'm in the audience. And when I tell you,
you see her, she don't even remember. She like, what a minute.
She remembers, because I was in the audience, and this was years ago, years before I really put myself out in my business, years before I published my book. And I literally sat there and cried because I said, I feel this power, this fire deep inside of me, but I was just so afraid to let it out. And it was like, I see it, I feel it wholeheartedly, but I'm afraid because I'm afraid that if I let it out, I can't control it.
That's your Phoenix.
And that's exactly when you talk about the Phoenix and sitting in that audience. And I didn't, you don't plan to cry and get emotional when somebody passes you the microphone, but that's how it came out. And when she's saying you have to embody that vision that God gave you, but you also have to release the fear and let that vision out. You have to manifest it and make it your reality. No matter how scared, because what it will do is it will boil up inside of you and then explode, or you don't want it to implode, put it that way. So definitely what you said brought me back to that moment and feeling so afraid but so on fire that I had something that I had to get out. And I did. And definitely when I becoming obedient and releasing it, and now like doors were just continued to open for me because I'm now walking in that space, in that, following my passions, walking in that space of my purpose. And it feels good. It gives me the happiness that I was looking for.
I love that. And I was going to say something similar because I don't know if it was Steve Harvey or if it was Patrice Washington. Between the two of them, somebody said, you don't get what you want, you get what you believe, right? And everybody tosses around manifestation and I'm about to manifest this and manifest that. Part of really bringing things into fruition is, like Latika said, it's embodying that vision. You have to feel it with every single fiber of your body. And I think the scary part is that when you are feeling all of that and you don't know how it's all going to work out, you don't know what the different pieces are that you're going to need, but you can't not do it, right? It scares you, like Jasmine said. Yes, if your dream doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. But really being able to believe in it so much that your thoughts, your actions, everything in you brings it into alignment, brings it together. And that doesn't mean that there aren't hiccups along the way. That doesn't mean that you're not doing it afraid, right? How many of us have been afraid and are still afraid even as we continue to go forward? Both hands again, because it's new, it's different, it doesn't make sense. But when you listen to yourself and you believe in what's been instilled in you, there's no way that it can't happen unless you believe that it can't. So oh my gosh, you ladies, I genuinely love and care about each and every one of you. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity. I say often that, had I not been obedient 2 years ago after my come to Jesus meeting in the hospital in ICU and got on a plane and went to Atlanta, I would have never met Grace, who brought Latika and I together. And I would have never met Lanisha, and I never would have met Lisa Marie. And even being obedient and being on Facebook and saying, you know what, somebody asking about a podcast for women of color. Let me go on in here and be vulnerable and be like, hey, I got one. I wouldn't have met Cassandra. And so your obedience is tied to somebody else's freedom. It's tied to somebody else's connection. And you have to be able to believe that when stuff gets tough, when it gets scary, when you feel like you can't do it, your obedience is tied to somebody else getting free from the things that you've overcome. So I will leave us with that.
And I would just say, capacity coach, that we thank you for your obedience, because of the work that you do, for those moms who are overwhelmed. And I know that right now you're working on one of your group coaching programs, for moms.
Y'all see her coaching me? This is what sister friends, accountability partners do. Go ahead, ma'am.
So no, I was just, opening the floor for you to talk about your coaching program and, what you do.
I so appreciate you. Again, even here, it's still sometimes tough to talk about what you do because I'm so invested in helping everybody else. But yes, I do have openings for my coaching. It's actually the individual right now, and I'm going to be opening group coaching up again, probably late summer, early fall. But if you're managing your capacity or having trouble managing your capacity and you're feeling overwhelmed, you don't know how to create balance, I guarantee you that it's tied to one of your areas of flow, whether it's your heart flow, your cash flow, your faith flow, your workflow, or your health flow. You have to be able to manage all of those so you can flow effortlessly. And I would love to be able to help you do that. So if you need some help, then go over to my website and click on work with me. And not only can you book your free discovery call, you can also take your capacity calculator there as well so that we can get you right and figure out what's on your plate, because I believe that you cannot fix what you do not face. And thank you, Coach Latika, for snatching my edges. I love you. I appreciate you. That's what we do. That's what real friends, real business partners, real people that really want to see you win do. So thank you very much to each and every one of you who are on here. If you're watching the replay, thank you for sticking it out with us and
Thank you.
tuning
Thank
in.
you.
And I want each of you to give me your information so that when I post the replay, I can list your info so that they can get in touch with you, because I do believe wholly that we are vessels. And I know somebody on here needs one of you, whether it's Miss Opulent or Dr. Ely or Miss Boss Mom, or if you like me and you have somebody who's going to college and you need some help getting it out of your head. We're all here to serve. So thank you again.
Don't forget to shout out Mr. Roan.
Oh, hey, Mr. Rome. I didn't even see you. Hey, boo. He's always here. Thank you so much for supporting. See? She's going to keep snatching my edges, y'all. Look. Hey, Mr. Rome.
I mean,
Nicole,
you got to go to bed with him tonight, not me.
Listen,
so
what y'all don't know though is I'm about to go on a week vacation with Mr. Roan. Okay, we're about to celebrate our 9-year wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
And Cassandra, we will be there to see Miss Cassandra. Okay, we will be there.
Yes, ma'am. You better not come here and not see me.
Are you kidding me? Ma'am, absolutely not. So yes, thank you guys. Thank you, Mr. Roan, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.